fascinating Game 4 situation coming up. Let's move to the NBA. Our own Brian Windhorst reports the Knicks and Jason Kidd share a mutual intrigue about the Knicks head opening at coach. Kidd is currently in that same role in Dallas, of course, and the Mavs would need to grant permission for the Knicks to speak with him. Tony, if you're Jay Kidd, would you want to leave the Mavericks and presumed #1 pick Cooper Flagg for your New York Knicks?
Okay, so that's a two-part question. The first part is, if I am Jason Kidd, I am leery about staying in Dallas right now. The owner that I came in to work for, Mark Cuban, is not the owner anymore. There are new owners now of that team.
Right.
I believe that the general manager, Nico Harrison, will be fired, and I believe he should be fired for the Luka Doncic trade. And even though you and I are sort of inclined to believe that the lottery was fixed so that Dallas could get Cooper Flagg, I'm not sure that I want to stay if I'm Jason Kidd. But the other part of that is, do I want to go to the Knicks? I mean, let's look at Jim Dolan. Let's look at what happens with coaches who go to the New York Knicks. They've had something like 9 different head coaches in 22 or 23 years. They're working on their 10th. So the shelf life of a coach in New York is very short. Do I want to look? They just fired a guy who went to the conference finals for the first time in over 20 years. Who does that? Is that what you want to get involved with?
Tony, this is a dilemma. This is a legit dilemma. And I thought of you as this story began to percolate, because going back, you were very early on when Jay Kidd was in college. You were fascinated with Jay Kidd. You always loved the way he saw the game, approached it. I know you have. And as a coach, yes. And so I thought of you, and I'm like, aha. Tony will jump on this and love for Jason Kidd to go to New York. But it is a dilemma. You're right about it. It's tough. He doesn't know these new owners, Tony, who have a reputation of not, so far, if any reputation, is not communicating with anybody. And if you're Jay Kidd, you're like, what am I doing here? I don't know if Kyrie is going to be healthy enough to come back or even contractually will come back. I don't know what that is. Anthony Davis, a great player. We don't know how much of the percentage of time he's going to be out there. Is Cooper Flagg ready to contribute and contribute right away? And the New York Knicks want to win now. And maybe that's the intrigue, Tone. They're going to be involved with Kevin Durant, I think, more than Giannis.
Giannis. Well, he coached Jalen Brunson. He coached him for a few years. I understand the draw there. But this is important to say. We've gone over this a lot. This is New York. This is bright lights, big city. This is splashy. They're not coming back with the exact same roster. They want something bigger and better because they think they're close. They could trade Karl Anthony Towns to get what they want. So
I expect that.
There's hesitation on both sides. Game 3 of the NBA Finals isn't until tomorrow night, but we've got questions today for our great friend, ESPN senior writer and the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, which I have seen, Mr. Brian Windhorst. Let's start with this Game 3 tomorrow in Indianapolis. You're in Indianapolis. Tyrese Halliburton did Tyrese Halliburton things in Game 1, but not in Game 2. Do you see that as an off night or as a product of how he was specifically defended?
It's been an off 2 years for him against the Thunder. If you go back and look, Tony, at the last 2 years, that's 6 games. Two games last year, 2 games in the regular season this year, 2 games in this series. Halliburton can't get it done against him. He really has difficulty getting into the lane, getting in transition. You can tell in his shots, he only averages 11 shots. Those 6 games, that's a pretty big sample size. Just 11 shots. He can't get into his normal rhythm. And the other thing is, he is being bothered by some sort of minor lower leg thing. You know, he doesn't want to talk about it. Rick Carlisle said he's in some discomfort. Maybe it's inhibiting him 5-10%, but you just can't have that against the Thunder. The big thing for him is the number of shots. It's not like that for everybody, and I know that the Pacers have a democratic offense, but when he scores over 20 points, they're 7-1 in the playoffs. He also averages 11 assists in those games. So when he's getting shots, they're working. He's not getting the shots. It's because the Thunder is so good at keeping him out of the lane, and I don't see an antidote that's going to change that.
Let's go to antidote for a second. Rick Carlisle has been wizard-like throughout the regular season starting in January and through these playoffs, as you know, Brian, in terms of just giving his guys, or maybe a guy on a night, an advantage Anything that you see or people talking about there that might unlock Halliburton necessarily against that OKC defense?
So the one thing the Pacers are so good at, and Carlisle game plans so well, is finding matchup advantages. They hunted the matchup advantages that they saw that they had against the Bucks. They destroyed the Cavs' smaller perimeter, getting Halliburton and their other perimeter players in good matchups. And you saw what they did to Jalen Brunson and Karl Towns. But there's no weak links on this Thunder defense. And that's not an insult to Carlisle or the Pacers. That's just because this is how the Thunder are built. And they have a hard time hunting those matchup problems. And not only that, they're playing a specific way against Pascal Siakam. They're just roughing him up. It has been their game plan all year long to rough up guys and let the chips fall where they may with the officials. The officials are allowing playoff contact. They're getting away with it, and it's slowing Siakam down too. Siakam can't get his shot numbers up. It's why beating the Thunder 4 out of 7 times, and now you're talking about beating them 3 more out of 5 is so difficult.
All right, well, we're all waiting for Game 3 in Indianapolis in the finals. There's so much stuff going on. Chatter, Brian, I know you're in the center of reporting and listening to this and being interested in it. The mutual interest that we believe exists between Kidd and the Knicks, where is that now? Has it advanced? When do we expect those two to talk if we do?
Yeah, so I believe that Jason Kidd is the Knicks' focus. He's the guy that they want to make their next head coach. But obviously he's under contract with the Mavericks. And I would say, and you guys know this, when you have a player like Jason or a coach like Jason Kidd, you don't request permission to interview him. You're not bringing him in and asking him his philosophy when they're down 3 points or whatever. You're asking permission to hire him. So don't pay so much attention to the permission. What it will come down to is whether the Mavericks are willing to let Jason Kidd go. So as I see it, the ball is in the Mavericks' court now. They are aware of the Knicks' interest, and they have one of 3 choices. Number one, they can just tell the Knicks, no, we're not interested in losing him. We're not interested in doing business with you. Good luck to you. They can make sure Jason Kidd doesn't want to go to New York, which the way to do that is typically with a new contract. They just gave him one last year, but a lot has changed on the Mavericks since he got that contract. Or they can trade him there. And we have seen 3 or 4 coaches get traded over the last couple of decades, including Jason Kidd back in 2014, got traded from the Bucks or from the Nets to the Bucks. And let me tell you, they didn't ask for permission on that one until it was already a done deal. They gave him 2 second-round picks. So that's what the Mavericks have to do. They have to work through this with Kidd, and they are the ones who are going to make the next move in this process.
All right, let me get you out of here on this. And we're talking about things not necessarily about the NBA Finals now, but more peripheral things. Are you hearing anything new regarding big names who may be on the move, specifically Giannis, specifically Kevin Durant, or anyone else?
Yeah, let's talk about Giannis right away. Okay. We are now in the beginning or the middle almost of June. Giannis Antetokounmpo is overseas. I believe he is in Brazil. He has not asked the Bucks for a trade. Right now, as far as I am aware, there are no plans for a meeting with the Bucks to ask for a trade. The Bucks are not intending on trading him. They want him to return. They want to put their team back together and try to make another run next year. So right now, Giannis is not going to be on the trade market. And I think we're headed for a draft situation where he is not a part of that. Will that stay the same? Let's check back. Let's see what the Bucks do with their roster. Let's see where Giannis is at in July and August. But I don't think you're going to see Giannis traded in the short-term future as far as I can see. Don't feel that way about Kevin Durant. The Suns are still doing business. They just introduced their new head coach, Jordan Knott, this afternoon. I expect them to move on to looking at the Kevin Durant trade market. The key thing with Durant is this. He has 1 year left on his contract, guys, which means if you are going to trade for him, he is probably going to want to sign an extension. And that means he's going to want to participate in the process. The Suns do not have to do that. They can trade him wherever, but it is more likely a team will give up more to get him if they think he's more than a rental. And to become more than a rental, he needs to be involved in the process. There's a handful of teams that I think have interest. The Knicks are one of them, but there's a handful of teams that I think will have interest, and we'll see how that plays out probably over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Brian, as always. Enjoy the game.
Brian, appreciate you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Happy trails to a home run for Nolan Shanuel. The Angels' first baseman appeared to hit his 4th home run of the season in the first inning last night, but A's rookie center fielder Denzel Clarke scaled the wall and stretched to make a completely improbable catch. Look at the slack-jawed reactions from pitcher Grant Holman and Shanuel himself. Clark's manager Mark Kotze said, quote, "I asked our bench coach Darren Bush if he'd fallen over the fence, how would they have ruled that? That's about as far over a fence as you can get without going over," unquote. Clarke made a similar but less spectacular catch against Toronto just last month.
He had another catch, a third one where he runs and bounces off a wall, which we're not even having there. This guy's the greatest in the game right now. He has to be, defensively.
He's a rookie. He's the greatest as a rookie? The greatest?
Wow.
Really? All right,
right
big
now,
finish. Here we go.
Nobody better.
Dion
Let's
has
do
been
it.
out of the office with an unspecified health issue. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Dion and I share some health issues. I don't know if this is one of those, but whatever it is, all the best, absolutely, to Deion Sanders. TJ Watt, Trey Hendrickson, and Terry McLaurin all missed the first day of mandatory minicamp. What's the biggest deal, Tone?
They're all incredibly valuable. They're going to get money. They have to. Scotty Scheffler is paired with Colin Morikawa and Victor Hovland to start the U.S. Open. You like that?
You know I have a favorite in that group, Mr. Morikawa. I'm rooting for TJ Oshie of the Capitals, retired after 16 seasons. How you going to remember his career?
I remember the shootout goals he had in the Olympics, and I'll remember that he won a cup with the Capitals. Last one, Yankee starter Max Fried tries to go to 9-1 when he faces the Royals tonight. Do you like his chances?
Yeah, 8-1, 178. I do like his chances, Tom.
We are out of time. We will try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon, same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. Tony, we lost Sly Stone over the last few days.
Everyday People is such a great song.